Just a minute. Okay, starting right now. Did you know women earn on an average 9% less than men? 62 million girls are denied education all over the world. Worldwide, only 22% parliamentarians are women. There are more CEOs named John than there are women CEOs altogether. These statistics reveal the gender inequality that remains perpetuated even after years of struggle. A struggle called feminism, which is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of sexes. The history of feminism, in a proper documented manner, is predominantly the American and the European feminist movement. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. The movement can be seen in 4 waves. The first wave, 1848 to 1920. For centuries, women were suppressed using laws made by men. And therefore, the first step towards gender equality is to get participation in making those laws. Women's suffrage, the right for women to vote, became the cornerstone for this wave. The first wave officially started with the Seneca Fall Convention of 1848. Around 200 women gathered in upstate New York to discuss social, religious, and civil rights and conditions of women, and passed a list of 12 resolutions, the most important being the right for women to vote. And then followed a long journey full of pain, sacrifice, harassment, and horror. And one such horrific event was the Night of Terror, 14th November 1917. A group of 43 women who've been protesting in front of the White House peacefully were picked up by the police and then battered, choked, and beaten, some to unconsciousness. And this turned out to be the turning event of this particular wave. When the news of this extreme abuse became common knowledge, the public sympathy shifted. And then 70 years since the start of the movement, and 143 years since America's independence, the 19th Amendment to the US Constitution was passed, granting women the right to vote. Back home, in spite of a very severe opposition by some right-wing members, the Indian Parliament, after proper deliberation, opted for universal suffrage, thereby granting both men and women the right to vote. The second wave, 1960 to 1980. Now, the women's suffrage was a huge and monumental win that promised to change the gender inequality landscape. But nothing much changed because women were still considered men's property, which meant that all decisions, personal and political, were still taken by men. Women were considered fit only for 2 roles, childbearing and homemaking. Therefore, 40 years after winning women's right to suffrage, the second wave started with the realization that political and personal rights are linked. And for tangible equality, it is imperative that the fight is fought both at home and outside. The personal is political was the slogan of this wave. The second wave officially started with the protest against Miss America pageant in 1968. A radical group of feminists called the Red Stockings staged a counter pageant and crowned a sheep Miss America and threw oppressive feminine items at the crowd like bras, high heels, makeup, etc. Post the protest, the feminists unleashed a series of high-profile demonstrations and theatrical stunts having lasting implications. This wave won some major legislative and legal victories like the Equal Pay Act, right to birth control, right to educational equality, and right to reproductive freedom. The third wave, 1990 to 2000. Now, with legal rights both at home and outside, the movement entered its third wave. Typical of men in power, a police constable named Michael Sanguinetti, in a talk on crime prevention in New York University, said, "Women should avoid dressing like sluts in order not to be victimized." Imagine, this was 1990 America, the most developed country on earth. The target for the feminists was now very clear: patriarchal mindset. Why should women's action or dressing be modified by what men think? The women of this particular wave denied victim shaming and turned the focus back towards the perpetrators. The major campaigns of this wave were slut walks and real men don't rape. In India, the patriarchal mindset is very prevalent, resulting in very high number of female feticide, dowry death, harassment, domestic abuse, and rapes. Coming to the fourth wave. Now, this is markedly different in the way in which feminist issues were taken up. Now, instead of waging the struggle on street, the struggle was now fought on a different medium, the internet. Ideas were exchanged without any discrimination between the movement leaders and the movement followers. In fact, they were interchangeable. The Me Too movement was one of the successful movements of this particular wave. Now, let us see how far this wave takes this movement in the future. Back home in India, in spite of a large number of laws and schemes being passed by successive government to ensure gender equality in different and all phases of women's life, the sad and unfortunate truth remains that India is ranked 112th out of 128 countries in the global gender gap 2020. And this shows that the struggle is far from over, and we need to keep our guards up to ensure women equality remains true. Thank you.